So now students, we have to talk about the February Revolution in Petrograd. So earlier we have seen what was the impact of First World War on Russia. We have seen Russian army lost badly in Germany and Austria, leading to large casualties. Then we have seen the destruction of crops and buildings. It led to refugees in Russia. Then the war also had a severe impact on industry. Russia was cut off from essential supplies. Then we have seen able-bodied men were called up to the war. Then after that, as a result, there were labor shortages. Large supplies of grains were sent to feed the Russian army. So for the people they were in the cities, there was scarcity of bread and flour and basic essential things. So by the winter of 1916, riots were very common at bread shops. So students, I told you that all these things made the conditions worst in Russia, and obviously now people will revolt. That is the February Revolution in Petrograd. Now in the winter of 1917, the conditions in the capital Petrograd were very serious. Grim means serious. So in the winter of 1917, the Petrograd was grim. So after that, there were shortages of food, especially in the workers' quarters. So food shortages, bad weather. Tsar was having a desire to dissolve Duma, and parliamentarians were not happy with this. So now what happens next? On 22nd February, there was lockout at a factory, that is, there was strike on the right bank, and many women also headed the strike. So this day came to be recognized as International Women's Day. Now students, International Women's Day is celebrated every year on 8th March, but here we are talking about 22nd February. So this is so because in 1917 in Russia, Julian calendar was being followed, and now they follow Gregorian calendar. And this Julian calendar moves 13 days back. So according to Gregorian calendar, it will be 8th March. And from 1918 onwards in Russia also Gregorian calendar was adopted. So the February Revolution we are discussing. So demonstrators reached to the center of the capital. So the government imposed curfew, as the quarters of the fashionable area and official buildings were surrounded by the workers. So demonstrators reached to the center of the capital. As workers, demonstrators, they reached their government imposed curfew, and then demonstrators, they dispersed or scattered. But on 25th and 24th, again they came back, and government then called out cavalry and police to keep an eye on them. So as they came back again on 24th and 25th, so police and cavalry was appointed to keep an eye on them. And on 25th February 1917, Tsar suspended Duma, and politicians criticized this move. Demonstrators returned on the streets on 26th February again. So students, on 25th February 1917, Tsar suspended Duma, and politicians criticized this move. So demonstrators again returned on the streets on 26th February, and on 27th, the police headquarters were ransacked. It means destroyed and damaged. People started protests for bread, wages, better working hours, and democracy. So Tsar again called the cavalry. Okay, cavalry was again called out. However, now what happened, it refused to fire on the demonstrators. So Tsar called the cavalry to control the situation, but cavalry refused to fire on the demonstrators. It means now army also protested against the Tsar. So soldiers, striking workers, they formed the Soviet or councils known as Petrograd Soviets. So this is the formation of Petrograd Soviets. All the striking soldiers, now workers, they form the Soviet or councils known as Petrograd Soviet. So as soldiers, striking workers formed a Soviet or council which was known as Petrograd Soviet, now a delegation of this Petrograd Soviet went to meet Tsar. So Tsar's now military commander advised him to abdicate, that is to step down. So finally Tsar abdicated on 2nd March. So Tsar or Tsar abdicated on 2nd March. Now after this, the provisional government was formed by Soviet Petrograd Soviet and Duma leaders. So after this Petrograd Soviet leaders, Duma leaders, they formed the provisional government to run the country. And after this, now we have to see the people who were involved in February Revolution were parliamentarians, workers, women workers, soldiers, and military commanders. So the provisional government saw its power declining and Bolsheviks' influence growing. So they decided to take some strict measures in order to stop this growing or spreading discontent. So now to control the growing discontent, provisional government took the following steps. They began arresting the leaders. Demonstrators staged by the Bolsheviks in July 1917 were suppressed. Many Bolsheviks leaders, they go into the hiding. So in the countryside also, like I told you what the provisional government was doing, they were arresting the leaders. In countryside also, peasants and socialist revolutionary leaders pressed for redistribution of land. So this was the main, they were targeting the redistribution of land. So land committees were formed. And peasants seized the land between July and September 1917. So after this, this all provided a very fertile ground for October Revolution, that is the revolution led by the Bolsheviks. So now we have to discuss the October Revolution. So students, the conflict between the provisional government and Bolsheviks grew, and the attitude of provisional government feared Lenin that they may set up a dictatorship. So whatever steps or whatever controls they were doing were being taken up by the provisional government. So fear was there in the mind of Lenin that they may set up a dictatorship. So with Bolshevik supporters in army, Soviets and factory workers, they started planning against the provisional government. So now on October 1917, October 16, Lenin convinced Petrograd Soviet and Bolshevik Party to agree to a socialist seizure of power, that is for the socialist revolution. To accomplish this task, appointment of military revolutionary committee was done under the leadership of Leon Trotsky to organize such a socialist revolution. Date of uprising was kept a secret. So the uprising began finally on 24th October. Prime Minister Kerensky left the city to summon the troops. So uprising began on 24th October. Military Revolutionary Committee started seizing government offices and arrested ministers. And then, sensing trouble, Prime Minister Kerensky, he left the city to call troops. Then the military men loyal to the government, they seized buildings of the two Bolsheviks newspapers. So in return, the military men who were loyal to the government, they also seized the buildings of two Bolshevik newspapers. Pro-government troops, that is the troops of the government, were sent to take over telephone, telegraph and to protect the Winter Palace. Now whatever steps were taken by the provisional government, in response to that, military revolutionary committee ordered to seize government offices and arrest the ministers. The Aura ship started shelling the Winter Palace. Other ships also took over the very important points in the city, and by the night city had been taken over and ministers also surrendered. So all Russian Congress of Soviets in Petrograd approved the Bolshevik action. So the organizations, they were supporting Bolshevik action was given approval by majority of Soviets at all Russian Congress in Petrograd. So there was heavy fighting in Moscow, but by December the Bolsheviks controlled the Moscow and Petrograd area. So people involved here were Lenin, Bolsheviks, troops, that is the pro-government troops. Now we have to see what changed after October Revolution or effects of October Revolution. First of all, implementation of April Thesis was the main priority of the Bolsheviks. So under this, most industries and banks were nationalized in November 1917. Then after that, land was declared the social property and peasants were allowed to seize the land of nobility. So peasants took over the land of nobility as it was declared as social property. Large houses were partitioned according to the size of family. Then use of old aristocratic all the titles, the use of old titles of aristocracy was banned, and to show the change, new uniforms were designed for army and officials. Then after that, Bolshevik Party was renamed as the Russian Communist Party. So as I told you that Bolshevik Party was renamed as the Russian Communist Party in November 1917. Elections to Constituent Assembly by Bolsheviks was conducted, but Bolsheviks failed to gain majority support. So Lenin dismissed the assembly. Despite opposition in March 1918, Bolshevik made peace treaty with Germany from First World War. So Russia became one party state, that is the Communist Party. So secret police punished those who criticized Bolsheviks. Then after that, trade unions were kept under party control. Then the process of centralized planning was introduced, that is, the planning part will be regulated by the government, and this will prosper the process of economic growth, or there will be increase in the economic growth by the process of centralized planning. Then as a result, industrial production increased. Then they went for the extended schooling system and collectivization of farms. So this is very important step which was taken by Stalin. Okay, and Stalin believed that rich peasants, that is kulaks and traders in the countryside, were holding stocks in the hope of higher prices. So to modernize farms, the farm should run on the industrial lines with machinery. It was necessary to eliminate kulaks, and that is the lands will be taken from the rich peasants, and kolkhozs will be established, and large state control farm must be established.